We thank you so much for staying on this channel. This is Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. We thank you for sharing, subscribing, and liking our videos. Please keep subscribing. Why do you watch mine and subscribing? Please subscribe, share, and like our videos. So today, I want to look at the defense of necessity. Remember, we I want us to take caution that when discussing these defenses, the most important is when do they stand. You must look out for when does this defense stand and succeed. Definitely the opposite true. When does it fail? So as we discuss them, we need to find out when does this defense stand and when does this defense fail is what you should look out, is what your examiners want you to say that if you raise the defense of necessity, when is it possible to stand and when does it fail? So those are the ingredients or elements that you look out for when discussing these defenses. So the defense of necessity today is what you want to look at. When does this stand? That the defense of necessity can only stand if you were preventing a greater harm or danger from happening. That is the only way the defense of necessity can stand. And Lord Coleridge, in the case of Ara versus Dudley and Stevens, was very clear in his stating, was very clear that we must handle this defense with a lot of care, with a lot of caution, because it can lead us into problems. Now, let's look at the case of Ara versus Dudley and Stevens. Now, in this case, these seamen lacked what to eat. They were lost in the wilderness on the sea for days, and time came when they were hungry and they lacked what to eat. And when they had a bet, their decision was very clear that let us kill this young seaman. With them, they had a young seaman, a young boy who was with them. So they decided to kill him so that they have food for some days. And when we went to court, they raised the defense of necessity, claiming that whatever they did was aimed at saving life, that they were saving their lives. And Lord Coleridge was very clear that this defense cannot stand simply because you were doing it for selfish gains. Why do you kill somebody? Because you want to save yourself. Then in such a scenario, you cannot raise that defense, and their case failed. Of course, they were convicted. Now, the take home is that we must be sure that whatever we are discussing, whatever you are doing to be able to raise the defense of necessity, you are preventing a greater harm from happening. This defense is very tricky. Let us look at Southwark, London Boroughs Council versus Williams. In this case, Lord Denning stated, was very clear that a defense of necessity, that it was handled well by Lord Coleridge in Ara versus Dudley. And he went ahead to state that this defense is very fragile. We must handle it with a lot of care. That the defense of necessity can open doors that no man can shut. Going ahead and saying that hunger would be a defense for necessity. Hunger would be a defense for theft, for stealing. That somebody would come and steal, and when they are arrested or taken to court for prosecution and they say, I was hungry, that is why I stole. So these are the doors we're talking about. That it is very delicate, so we must handle it with a lot of care. That homelessness will be a defense for trespass, and no man's property will be safe. That people who are homeless will now begin to trespass on people's property, ending up stealing, causing a lot of havoc in society. And when they are arrested or taken for prosecution, their defense is very clear that I am homeless, that is why I'm trespassing, entering in everybody's home. So that is how serious the defense of necessity is. So you must know that you can only raise this defense if you are preventing a greater harm from happening. For example, let's use any university. Let's use, for example, IU. If you are locked up in a room, in one of the lecture rooms, let's say at IU, you are very many in there, and fire starts, but the school rules are, the university rules are, you're not allowed to break any of the school belongings, including windows. But you have fire, you have children in there, or yourself are in there, people are suffocating, and then you go ahead and break the window to save the life of people who are suffocating. Then if you raise a defense of necessity, in that case it can stand. But where whatever you do is for your selfish gains, trust me, the defense of necessity cannot stand. So we thank you so much for always keeping on this channel. I hope the case of Ara versus Dudy and Stevenson helps you. Please read it and understand it more. It's Locus Class's case on the defense of necessity. We thank you so much. Keep locked in here. Subscribe, share, and like our video. Thank you so much.